All right, I'm ready to record though when you guys are.
My notes aren't loading. Gotta wait because
Oh my gosh.
computer randomly rebooted for no reason.
What? FBI's in there, buddy.
Probably.
You're cooked.
FBI, open up!
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 13 of 2025. I'm Chris Louie, and still coming off the high from episode 200. How awesome was that episode? With me, I have my co-host, the hot dad who is currently jet-setting and recording late in his time.
Yes, the episode 200 was good. I felt like we were dialed in, having a good time, and yeah, jet setting. I will tell you, this is I think the third straight week in a row going all the way out to the East Coast and back. I'm all done with it, and then I realize I have more meetings like that coming up. So whatever, but thank you.
Getting
You love
those,
it. You know you love it.
getting those freaking flyer miles in for sure.
Yeah, something like that.
Cheers to you. Cheers to you.
Cheers to me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we have Glenn Medina, who finally got his fix of 8 delicious inches of meat at Jimmy John's. How was that sandwich, Glenn?
It was stinking amazing, dude. It was 100% great, and then it was 200% regret afterwards. So.
I must have missed that in the
You
group
should have seen
chat.
the text with my family. You did.
Oh.
Oh man, I've been craving the heck out of a Jimmy John sandwich ever since I stopped covering Seattle.
Oh no.
And then the next thing you know, I like the first chance I get to hit a Jimmy John's, I walk 3 blocks over to get to one, and I'm in the middle of eating it, and at the end of eating it, it was nothing but regret after. So
Did you get the combo with the chips and the drink
And the cookie.
yeah,
and the cookie?
and a cookie, yeah, and a cookie.
Quack, yeah.
It's the number 7, the spicy Italian. Oh my gosh, that thing is so awesome. So
Hey, that's actually
hit
one of the
Jimmy
better
John's. How about some
sandwiches.
sponsorship here?
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, Chris, that sympathy goes out to you from my buddy Billy that listens to the podcast. He's like, I'd want to kill you guys if I had to do all the editing on that episode 200. I was like, don't worry. Towards the end, we do self-editing. So, quack. Yeah.
Yeah. Happy to do it.
Yeah.
Well, no guest this week due to travel schedules. We had to record fairly late at night. At Glenn's explicit request, this will be a drinking episode.
So, Glenn, how did you
Right on.
fit 8 quacking inches in your mouth is a real question.
Hey, one bite at a time.
One bite at a time. All right.
Can I say that?
You can.
That's not good. Hey, if you've ever had a Jimmy John's sandwich, I'll go back here. Like, there's not a lot of bread in there, like some of the other sandwiches. I think that's what makes it good.
Oh, yeah.
You don't waste your time with the bread. You want to go straight to the meat.
Yeah, and I'd like to say the meat was thicker than the bread, so that made it really good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We have one by my house, so if you ever come back to Arizona, that, and then have you had Jersey Mike's?
Oh, we're going. Yeah, that's thick bread.
Oh man, you can get it done right. Actually, you can actually have it made as a salad, and so I do that. They just chop it all up, throw it in a bowl, and just eat it like a homeless
No,
person.
thank you.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you. Did you know you used to be able to get a Jimmy John's pickle witch?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was that
So
limited
you-
time thing, right?
Yeah,
You
it was
like
really
pickles.
good. Yeah, really good.
We have Firehouse subs. I think that's probably the closest we
Yeah.
have here to
No.
Bay Area.
that's terrible.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody want a firehouse up.
I like the spicy sauce.
Yeah.
You say that, but I don't think you actually
it's
like
okay.
spicy food, Chris. I think you're just a big old sissy.
Oh, I love spicy food.
Oh, I've seen
I-
him eat some really spicy food.
Takis don't count.
On
That's
the Thai spice level, I could do a 4, which is pretty
What?
good
Really?
for Thai spice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 5 out of 5 is unbearable. Like 4 is pretty darn good.
you gotta do what I do. I asked for
Heidelau, you
you asked for Thai hot. That's what the men
asked
do.
for 10.
Yeah, Thai hot. That's what Brian wants.
You like? Well, they probably look at you and go, "Gringo hot Thai or
No, I
or
said
Asian Thai hot."
I said bring it over here, and everyone could see me sweating. But it was good. You know, it's
Like 5 out of 5 tie is like make him regret he was born hot.
Yeah, we were on vacation last week or the week before in LA, and we found a late night Thai place that closed at 3:00 in the morning, and we got there at 10 or 11 for a late night dinner, and the scale was 1 to 10, and he brought out a 2, and he said a 2 was hot. And I swear to God, I thought I was going to rip my face off. So I don't even know what a 3, 4, 5 to get to a 10 is at 2. So yeah, crazy. Props to that place, because the Thai food at 10, 11 o'clock at night was rocking. Yeah.
And here goes Brian eating yet again the loudest possible food while recording a podcast.
I'm watching the thing. It barely even shows up.
Time.
People can listen. They like it. They eat. I'm going to hear nonsense.
Combined, we have decades of information security experience, and here not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This week, we're going to talk about your DNA, a webcam encrypting your network files. For our third topic, what could possibly go wrong with online file converters, and close with yet another enshitification topic.
Isn't that quantification?
No, this is not a swear word.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Grok. It's not considered an expletive.
As
Go
long
on.
as YouTube doesn't see it that way, that's all that matters.
Exactly. Well, YouTube and Apple. If Apple flags you as adult content, then you're toast. Then you're gated.
You're not toast. You're cooked. Let's keep up with the kids.
You're cooked.
Keep up with the times. We got young listeners.
All right, fair enough. For our first topic, DNA testing and one-trick pony company 23andMe has filed for bankruptcy, and their CEO is stepping down. 23andMe was famous for giving you the ability to spit into a tube, and they would use your DNA to trace back your ancestors to find out where they came from. We've known people who have had surprises through DNA testing, learning they had illegitimate children or that their father is not really their father through these tests. Who would have thought that charging $99 for a one-time fee test kit would not be a viable business model? 23andMe struck a deal with pharmaceutical company GlaxoSmithKline to share DNA data to use in their clinical trials to develop new drugs and therapies, but that wasn't enough to save the struggling DNA testing company. Why we're talking about it on an InfoSec and Privacy podcast is now that the company has declared bankruptcy, all that DNA data is out there in the open, ready to be snatched up by the highest bidder once the company enters receivership. 23andMe gives you instructions on how to delete your DNA from the website, and if you have ever taken the test on there, we suggest you do.
I think it's only a matter of time before Google buys this information. Let's be real. They like to double down on terrible ideas like buying Wiz. So why would they not buy 23andMe?
I think they already have it. So
There's that website killed by Google. You could find out all the products that Google has bought and then killed off.
Oh, that'd be funny if they killed off Wiz. I can't see it happening though.
No.
they did it just to buy their customers and then move all their products over to the Google
GCP.
Google Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, you never believe this, guys. They don't call it networks. They call it VPCs. You know what I mean? Like, we had this all backwards. We were trying to move the data center to the cloud that was actually a data center, but everyone else calls it something different.
Yeah. Have you guys ever done DNA testing, or have any of your relatives done it?
Not only have I done it, I've also deleted everything. Yeah.
Have you? You deleted it?
Mm-hmm.
Were there any surprises, Brian?
Not that I'm willing to share. I mean, my family tree is pretty much a stick. Very white. Got some Viking blood in me. That's about it.
That explains the Viking burial.
Yeah. Yeah.
I took it as far as part of a 2-for-1. You know, you buy 2, get 1 free. Buy 1, get another free. So my daughter took it, and then I took it as well, and I don't think I was surprised at all to know that I was Asian. So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Did you have any Genghis Khan DNA in you?
I don't think so.
I mean,
gotta go
everyone
look
at
it.
one
It's been a
point.
while.
Yeah, I mean, Genghis Khan invaded. Well, maybe not Glenn, but for me, if I had taken, so for the record, I have not taken one. I'm positive there's some Mongolian blood because when Genghis Khan invaded China, I'm sure the Mongolian blood got spread throughout mainland China.
Is it bad to say that I'm related to Adam?
From Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming at all.
We're all related to Adam and Eve. I will say, though, I have a great aunt who is diagnosed with a very rare condition that's only found in Jews and Italians. So if I had taken this test, I'm pretty sure I would have found some Jewish blood or Italian blood in my bloodline somewhere.
And what is it? What is the disease?
Is that how you got the cheap gene? Because you're pretty cheap, right? So
Glenn had to go there.
No. Oh, pause. I did not endorse that comment.
I know, Brian's. Yeah, even that was too much for Brian. He's not gonna co-sign on that one.
No, I'm pulling back on that one, guys.
I don't know the specific disorder. That's just what I've been told by
is that frugal?
medical experts who say this condition is traditionally only found in Jewish people and Italian people, but it somehow found its way to my great aunt.
That's awesome.
So going back to your
It
snark,
would have been great to see if you had. Go ahead.
I was just saying, just going back to your snarky comment, it's like, who would have thought charging $99 for a one-time fee would make them not viable? I kind of did. I'm actually kind of surprised that they went out of business. I feel like there's a ton of upsell on there that they could have gotten us with.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some upsell there. I think it was more of they didn't monetize it as well. There wasn't a recurring subscription. There wasn't ARR. And then they got the hack. There was that massive hack that 6 million people, like half their customer base, got hacked and their data was released, and they faced all these class action lawsuits. Something like that. That certainly did not help.
Again, didn't know that happened
So
either.
I guess the question is, they sell their data as it comes across, and that data can't be kept private unless you delete it or tell them that you want it deleted. So if, like I said, if it gets sold, does the new owner of the data, can they do anything they want with it, or are they held by the same standards that 23andMe had?
I'm pretty sure once
right?
it goes into receivership, they'll sell all the assets. I'm pretty sure in the privacy policy they say we can do whatever we want. They sold the data off to GlaxoSmithKline to develop new therapies and stuff. So whoever buys it, if you don't delete it, it's just gonna be out there in the open.
Yeah, I think it's time to go delete.
Yeah, there's a friend of the show that found out he had an illegitimate daughter through this process because he did the test.
Get out of here. Really?
And then there's some random 12-year-old girl that did the test as well. And I guess through the platform you can message other people and says, hey, by the way, I share 50% of my DNA with you. I think you're my dad.
Todd found out he had a kid.
It wasn't Todd.
No.
It's the drinking. No, I'm just kidding. Love you, Todd.
I have a friend of a friend and whatever. And, he's a great guy. And he's got a couple kids, adorable little girls. And then he just found out recently he's got a 16-year-old daughter he didn't even know existed. And and I mean this in the nicest way. This guy, you remember the movie? Which one was it? The guy that plays in Happy Gilmore, but they go camping all the time.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler. Walk me through this. Where they he gets together with all
Grown-ups.
Grown-ups. Remember in Grown-ups with the oh my gosh, I should have really thought this one through. What was the other dude's name? I'm absolutely No, he was the guy that. Oh my gosh! I'm now I gotta look at
Paul Blart, the Paul Blart guy.
No.
Kevin James, Chris Rock.
Nope. Keep going.
David Spade.
Nope.
Oh, you're talking about the half Filipino guy.
Yes, he's a very pro Republican. Yeah.
Very. Yeah.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider. Yeah.
You can do it.
All right. So remember in Grown-ups?
Yeah.
Remember in Grown-ups 2, when his daughters show up in the first.
I think I know what you're saying.
The first two.
The two beautiful ones.
Yeah, the first two. That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, when he found out about his other daughter, right? When he saw her, everyone looked at the picture That makes so much sense right there. Like the spitting image of him. So it was so funny, but it reminded me from the movie Grown Ups. Yeah. Rob's a funny dude.
I don't know. Was Rob Schneider in Grown Ups? He was in all the other ones.
No, he was.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was in Grown Ups.
He was in Grown Ups. Okay.
Yeah, he's like.
It's been a while since I've
It
seen
was
it.
Grown Up. That was Grown Ups.
Yeah.
2 that scene came from.
I don't know why people
right?
crap on Adam Sandler movies. I think they're funny.
Yeah. Yeah, they got their place, I'd say.
There's one movie called Jack and Jill that people hate. I think it's hilarious. But whatever.
Jack and Jill was funny.
All right, see, there you go.
So. Click was funny. A
Click
whole
was
bunch of them
good.
were funny. Like
Yeah.
Mr. Deeds.
Dude,
Yeah,
Click
it's
was
a good one.
made you
Yeah.
cry. I couldn't watch that movie without crying. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Mr. Deeds.
Click made
especially
you
your
cry.
parent.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
dude. Remember the Blackfoot? He's like, hit it. He's like, why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
I like your feet. You have nice feet.
What was the other one? Where he was the one that fathered a child in elementary school,
Oh, the groat mo
right?
something.
Yeah, and his he named his son Donnie. And Vanilla Ice was in that movie. What is that movie?
Big Daddy?
I'll keep going. Yeah, Big Daddy.
Daddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Big Daddy's one of my favorite
That's
movies.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't think he impregnated anybody at a young age. He just you got that part of the story wrong.
I think so.
No, the teacher, right?
I don't think there's any
It
Mary
wasn't
Kay
Big
Letourneau
Daddy.
stuff going on.
No. This was another one. It was oh, come on.
That's
He
my
was.
boy.
He
It was That's My Boy with
That's
Yeah,
my boy.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it wasn't Big
with Adam
Daddy.
Andy Samberg. That guy is so funny.
Yeah, there you go. He's had several.
All right. Well, anyways, going back to DNA testing. So another reason why I refuse to ever take it. So for the record, yeah, I've not taken 23andMe. I haven't taken Ancestry. I haven't taken anyone. I read that there was a story here in California where they were able to track down this serial killer, like this cold case serial killer, where they had DNA evidence, could not link it to anybody because the guy had no priors, but they kept the DNA evidence, and then through some kind of weird shadow agreement between the California Department of Justice and one of these DNA testing companies, they said, let's pull your data and figure out if we can find out who's related to all these cold cases. So then they pulled this data and they found out like 8 relatives that had, partial matches to the DNA, and they were able to track it down. And it was someone's crazy uncle that ended up being this like serial killer from the 70s here in California.
See, Chris is against justice and the truth in the American way.
He's a serial killer.
And he's a serial killer.
Well, I'm not the
And he's a
serial
serial
killer.
killer.
But if there's somebody in my family that is, like, I don't want to be the narc that like gets them in trouble.
Yeah. Sure, Chris.
I want to be the narc. Screw that guy. Don't be a weirdo. Yeah.
Like,
So you
if you have your
say you
suspicions,
wouldn't turn in your uncle who was a serial
No,
killer?
what I'm saying is everyone's entitled to due process. If you get a warrant and a court order, I will hand over my DNA. But if I say, for example, I just want to find out where my ancestry is from, that data should not be used to track down serial killers. I mean, yes, I think finding serial killers is a good thing, but do it the right way. Do it through a court order, get a warrant, follow due process.
You had a point, but I'm not gonna agree.
no one's gonna co-sign on that, and I
No.
brought the podcast to a screeching halt on
Yeah.
that one.
Like first Glenn with the Jew jokes, now you with the serial killer talk. I don't know.
That was an Asian joke. It had nothing to do with it.
All right, before we dig ourselves in too deep for our second topic, a ransomware crew was able to pull off the ultimate attack by using an IP camera to launch their ransomware attack. The Akira ransomware group got initial access to a corporate network through, guess what? Compromised SSL VPN credentials and proceeded to deploy the ransomware payload onto the network. However, the machine they were using to launch their attack had EDR software on it, so the ransomware was immediately blocked. So good job, EDR software.
Let's go.
They then pivoted to an IP camera that did not have EDR software installed on it, but it did have a full-blown Linux OS running on it. Using this IP camera that did not have EDR installed, it connected to the SMB file share, so it mapped to one of the network drives on the network and was able to encrypt one file at a time until the entire file share was encrypted with the ransomware payload. So this is just a fail on just so many levels.
No, -2. There was a level in there that was able to block it. The EDR, right?
Yeah, obviously,
they did not.
An enterprise browser could have
Stop
fixed
lateral
all
movement.
this. I'm just kidding, Glenn. I love you, man. Oh my gosh. Real quick, like, have you guys ever done like audit of the network or something like that, and you know for sure something is vulnerable? Hell, maybe even stood up something intentionally vulnerable and then try to like manually exploit it yourself. Like, it is like outside of Metasploit, it's damn near impossible. And then even then, it's still a mofo. So good. I'm impressed that these guys. Number one, an IP camera running a full Linux stack is insane, but whatever. That's
like there's like routers and like wireless access points that run Linux. So you can run Responder on a wireless access point as long as it has Linux. You can run a command line, you can run a bash script, like you can run Responder on it and art poison things.
Yeah, or whatever.
But, I mean, just goes to show, those lateral movement is just so important. Like you compromise the system, it's protected. Well, I'm going to try the next one. Then you find this IP camera that has no EDR on it. There's no lateral network protection. There's no outbound stack looking for command and control traffic. And just this IP cam just like ransoms the whole network.
Well, the fact that it's sitting on the same network with file shares makes it even funnier.
You know what would be interesting?
Right?
No, you're right. If we can come up with some type of an analogy, right? Something like you want to say you want to have like poor lateral movement. So then do you want to call your secure network a pig, right? Because like it's largely misunderstood. It eats, I don't know, like 12 pounds of cabbage, has poor lateral movement and just leaves massive dumps everywhere. So again, I don't know where I'm going with this, but somewhere in there is a network joke that we could be using.
Yeah, I mean, that just, again, proves the point. Lateral movement and network segregation is hard. These
Segregation?
IP cams, they record to an NVR somewhere.
Don't you mean
this
segmentation?
IP camera should talk to one thing.
No, Glenn?
I can't understand anything you're saying. Right?
No, he said network segregation. I was like, I don't think that's the word. I think it's segmentation.
Network segmentation.
Okay.
You segregate the network through network segmentation.
You sound like those white guys back in the 50s. I don't know, man.
George Wallace.
But yeah, like number one, get rid of that VPN. That's the biggest problem there. Good job having EDR. There must be some type of, what do you think, Kerbo roasting going on? Not like, there's no way maybe the camera had credentials on there. They just use that to kind of exploit and then.
And I bet it was admin on the camera.
Oof. Yeah, I can see that.
No, it was admin 1 2 3 4. The species.
I think I told you guys about the hockey stick password, right?
Hockey stick?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right.
A while ago.
The real quick refresher was we had the secret super password, and it was like you would hold shift and hit 1 Q U A Z, and then you go across the bottom to X C Y B, and there's the hockey stick. And I thought it was so clever until years later, and that this was at like an airline, and then years later I was selling to somebody, and we were setting up like a syslog, and he's like, and this is a university. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, the password is the hockey stick. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, this is what you do. I was like, huh. And then I went back and looked, and sure enough, somebody that I worked with had gone over from that original company over to the education place, and just taking the concept of this super secure password. Yeah.
Spread the bad ideas.
Spread the bad ideas.
Other
yeah.
companies. Yeah.
So they did QWERTY all the way across to the. Is that
No,
what it was?
1 Q U A Z, so it's like down, and then X Y C B. You have to look at the
Okay. Yeah, I used to have a guy. I knew a guy in previous life. he would do QWERTY all the way across
Oh, okay.
that whole row. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Shout out to I think it was Seth. What the heck was Seth's last name? It wasn't Rogan because that's like an actor, but anyways,
Yeah.
it was his genius idea.
Yeah. Props to this company. I mean, when you think of like your average cheap made in China IP camera, like it doesn't have a ton of processing power, but yet it was still able to encrypt the entire file share, one file at a time, and nobody
It almost
noticed.
makes you think. Yeah. It almost makes you think that they leave the full Linux version installed on purpose and running. It's like, hey, we're going to sell this camera. It's going to be on Temu. It's going to be really cheap. We'll get them out everywhere. And then if we ever can connect to them, we know that we've got the full stack that we can use to start an insider threat.
Yeah, I heard you buy enterprise browsers on Temu now. Just kidding.
You connectors as well. So, yeah.
I think it's more so they're just too lazy because, yes, you can create your own version of Linux, you can create your own kernel, you can compile your own kernel, you can strip out all the unnecessary dependencies and libraries, but like, well, that takes extra work. So why not just, storage is cheap. Throw a 16 gig SD card in this thing and put on full Ubuntu on there and call it a day.
Let's be real. The red team failed. They should have seen admin add one, and then it was running a full blown Linux OS on there, and they should have hardened the device. At least change the password. Yeah.
There is definitely a lot of fail all around here. But props to that threat actor, Akira, whoever did that, they were able to figure it out. Like they weren't deterred like normally low hanging fruit or low effort threat actors are like, this company deploys EDR, let's move on to the next one. Nope, there wasn't a way, so they just made a way. They found an IP camera and was able to just encrypt one file at a time. They didn't give up. All right, for our third topic, the US FBI is warning about fake online file converters. If you've ever had a PDF and wanted to convert it to a Word document, there's no real easy way to do that using native tools. If you're not a savvy user and want to convert a Word document to a PDF, you would likely turn to an online conversion tool to help you, something like PDF Converter online.
Timeout.
Well, surprisingly, yeah.
Are you going to tell me that people actually are in Word or Google Docs for that, and they don't know how to do save as a PDF?
Hey, you never know.
Oh my
That's
God.
why this PDF Converter website exists.
Well, I mean, PDF to doc makes sense, but you think they would just be built in by now? You just be able to import PDFs. And then someone's like laughing.
Mac's been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah.
I want to say Microsoft Office has had it probably since Windows 7 or so, but it wasn't.
You can print as PDF. Yeah.
It's not as intuitive at Mac. Like Mac, there's a button that says save to PDF, but for Windows, it's like you got to like install this Microsoft Office PDF print driver or something crazy like that.
Not even. You could print the PDF pretty easily, right? I thought
Probably
could
now
do
you
that.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not surprising absolutely no one. The FBI is warning that many of these online conversion tools are fake tools used to either steal your data or even worse, deploy ransomware. So you think about uploading a PDF file to an untrustworthy website, they just steal the data, they don't do anything, or they save the file as whatever choice you do, like a Word doc, but it's laden with malware that will encrypt your network.
Okay, let's be real. Go ahead, man.
It's a precursor to ChatGPT.
Yeah. Data leakage.
Just need a diaper. Okay,
Go ahead.
so let's say we're doing a PDF convert. Let's be real. Like, how many pages into Google do I have to go into before I find a malicious one? Like, I feel like you're gonna hit the top result, right? PDFconverter.com. Like, not that I believe it, but it seems like it might be legit. Second one's Adobe.
Yeah, but also there's essentially SEO poisoning, so you can get your result to the top, and then there's also the malvertising where you can buy ads to get at the top of Google, so it makes it look legitimate.
Yeah. No one
That's the
falls
other
for
side.
that.
Maybe you go into Adobo instead of Adobe.
Adobo, so Filipino vinegar chicken.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious. All right. Yeah, I would say that the results on DuckDuckGo are wildly different. So maybe these are going to be a little sketch. Who knows?
You should go test it, Brian. Upload your current tax documents up there and see if they'll convert it. Okay.
Bro, I had to do that.
Your resume.
So not looking for a job. I had to do that the other day. Like take all my tax stuff and upload it. And this, like, number one, just for the page to load took forever. I was like, oh, it's weird. So I signed in, did my thing. And then I was uploading all these docs. I'm like, this is taking a crazy amount of time. And then I realized, I'm like, these people are probably getting hammered right now with like people doing last minute tax stuff. Like myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
H&R Block?
No.
Intuit?
Use a private company. But yeah. One of the things I like about it though is, or I should say, I probably go way too far down the route. Like, let's say that I have like an account that doesn't have any money in it, but I feel like someone's always out to get to me. So it's not like what would it be, like an interest statement? I have no idea what the number would be, but let's pretend it's a 1099. It's not. I will go to every one of my accounts and do a screenshot and print it off that there is no tax document for this checking account that never saw the light of day in 2024. Just so I can have it.
Yeah, that's a little overkill.
It is. I like to live in overkill land.
It's $10 or more. They won't issue a 1099.
Is it a 1099?
I think for minors, I think it's $3,500, and then for a trust, I think it's $600.
Wait. For minors, it's a $3,500 limit on interest?
I think it's $3,500. If a minor makes less than $3,500, I believe you don't have to report it. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's the rule.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that, Glenn. All your kids are grown.
No, yeah, they all make some money.
Billions of dollars.
I doubt billions.
Glenn can retire. He doesn't have to hawk enterprise browsers anymore.
Or internet access. So,
guys,
or private access.
I do have to wonder, like, what is the TAM on this whole fake online file converters? Like, if the person is dumb,
you want the ACV or the ARR?
Yeah, data protection.
No. Like,
the whole
forget that.
Story of data protection.
No, the TAM. Like, if I'm the bad guy and I'm doing this, like, if you're dumb enough to use the website, like, you probably don't have a lot of money. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, but like, what if what if you get an employee at a very large company, call it Southwest Airlines or Alaska Airlines or one of these very large companies, like, I need to convert this to PDF. I'm going to go to pdfconverter.com, and that's all you need. Like, someone downloads a Trojan PDF, opens it on their corporate laptop, and then you're in. Or even a cryptocurrency company, Coinbase, Gemini, one of those.
You have to. I think you have to also remember that some of these folks are frugal for a reason. They have a lot of money, but they're very frugal. So anything free is good for me, right? So yeah.
What if it's someone in the U.S. federal government? Doge just canceled all those Adobe Acrobat licenses, so they're going to go to PDF Converter.
They're only using 27 of them, so let's be
those
real
27
about that.
people that are using it now they have to go online to find a way to convert their PDF.
Do you know who's really hurting right now? Is WinZip. Apparently, the U.S. federal government always paid that license millions of times.
Or WinRAR.
Oh, was it WinRAR? Is that the one that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the joke. No one ever pays for WinRAR unless you hit the lotto.
Or you work for the government. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, ServiceNow is probably hurting. I think one U.S. agency had 6,000 licenses, and they were using 200 of them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, something for us to comment on later on when we're not recording.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, but to your point, you're well, what's the low hanging fruit of this? Well, U.S. federal employees. What's the cost of, or what's the value of getting onto a U.S. federal network?
Pretty high.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Now, do you think there's a lot of great data? I guess the question is, do you think there's a lot of great data there? Do you think it's all 1099s and stuff like that, or is it resumes? What do you think it is?
Birthday invites for 3-year-olds, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some good. I mean, there's probably a lot of noise, but there's probably all you need is one, right? All you need is one. All you need is AWS access tokens or API keys or something like that. You upload some file that has that, and you've struck gold.
Yeah, I guess so.
And same with downloading a Trojan file. Sure, you can ransomware grandma's computer. It might be a loss, but you get that one user inside a corporate network that you've been trying to get into, and you can sell that access for $30K, $50K, $100K.
I'll tell you what,
ransomware group.
I've hung out with lots of grandmas in my day, and their computers are always dog slow. Like the thing is 20 years old. It's vulnerable, but I don't think I would have the patience to gap them. You know what I'm saying?
It's got like 20 of those search bars installed in the browser.
Bro, that was the day, right?
That's a G's bar.
Yeah.
One of those companies.
Reboot in safe mode and pray.
For our last topic, and it'll be a rotating topic every week, this week we're going to talk about enshitification of airline travel. And there's basically one story that tipped me off on this. Like I knew for a while, like airline travel is just getting much worse. Like fees on this, fees on that, the fee, everything. But now Southwest, which was the last holdout, the last bastion of hope for airline travel, has finally caved in to Wall Street pressure, and now they're going to charge for checked baggage, and they're going to charge for seat selection. So previously, the alternative carrier was famous for flying into smaller regional airports and not charging for checked bags or for picking your seat. It was first come, first serve, and they were the last big four airline in the U.S. to not charge, not have assigned seating, but their profits are down, their stock price is down, and Wall Street's like, hey, what's going on? Like, you got to change something. And now they're just going to cave in, and they got to behave like every other airline out there.
Yeah. You miss it. They're also known for cow herding. That's what they're doing. Just taking these overweight Midwesterns, just shoving them into a thing to their certain death eventually. So the other day, and I don't think they're even doing the, dedicated seats, but I don't know, I was farting around on Google Flights, and I was blown away, like Phoenix to, I don't know, Honolulu, maybe it was American versus Southwest, and it was like Southwest was $400 a round trip more expensive. I'm like, there's no way in hell, this is insane. And the reason why they did really, really good back in the day, think of 07, 08 time frame, is because they were doing fuel hedging. So they were when every other airline that was out there was at $100 a barrel for crude oil, whatever it is, or 120. They're like, yeah, man, we did ours for 35. They were killing it for a long time. So I don't know. I look at this and I'm a little perplexed. I think they had a recipe for success over there, but they screwed the pooch somehow.
Yeah, and they flew in small airports. If you fly to Chicago, it's Chicago Midway. If you fly to Houston, it's Houston Hobby. There were these smaller regional airports where their takeoff and landing fees were less, and they passed those savings on to the consumers. Because if you remember those ads, they'll want to get away, those want to get away fares. I remember SFO to Las Vegas was $67 round trip. That was a really want to get away fare. Now it's you can't get a flight to Vegas for under $250 now.
From where? From your house?
Like I said, I flew from San Diego. I flew from San Diego or LA to Sacramento, and I'd like to say it was $50. It wasn't much. It was $49. So
this is Glenn's
airline.
Still
there. I think you just got to find them.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Yeah, but some of the other ones I think that they're looking at right now is, I'm sure they had to pay for the software upgrade. Because remember a couple of years ago when they
the big glitch and the outage.
The big glitch? Yeah, so I'm sure they're paying for that somehow.
I think it was not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. I think they were down for 5 days during the Christmas holiday travel season. That was not ideal.
Yeah. Yeah, the rainstorm and the combination of events that really caused an issue for them. So I'm sure there's a couple of things. And I mean, fuel prices aren't getting any cheaper, right? So fuel prices are just crazy. So I think that's something that they can't
oil
control.
is down. Oil's down. OPEC's up. Oil's down.
Or maybe they hedged wrong on the fuel, right? They bought a year in advance.
They bought the $150 contracts instead of the $60 ones.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't count on drill, baby, drill.
Yeah.
So to your point, Southwest from San Jose to Las Vegas and back, $224. If you want to roll the bones hardcore and do Frontier Spirit, it's $64.
What about 14-day advance notice? Even with advance notice?
What do you mean?
Even with?
What's advance notice?
14-day or 21-day advance notice? Yeah, 21-day pre-purchase.
let's look. I'm
Was it
going
cheaper?
out. I'm going looking at May.
Yeah.
Oh, 117.
You kind of
yeah.
laugh. You kind of, yeah. You kind of have to smirk as well with Spirit because I think they even charge you for putting luggage underneath your seat. So,
Yeah, they charge for carry-on. They charge
Yeah.
for drinks. They charge for reserved seating. But I heard
Yeah.
like for the trick for like Spirit and Frontier is like you want to be what the big fish in a small pond. So you want to go discount, but you want to buy like the ultra top premium seats, and it's actually okay if you do that.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm good.
You're still with the same demographic that flies Spirit and Frontier, but at least you have the big seats.
I don't know. The last time I saw a Spirit Airlines flight, they were fighting in the hallway. So,
Yeah, that's on brand. That's on brand. I
well,
will say.
one thing I do like is the fact that I still don't understand how people can't count. 20 does not come before 16, so I don't get it.
I know. There's always that one smartass that's in the room who's like, well, we're all going to land at the same time. I'm like, no, like there's numbers here. Let's just do it.
But I'm boarding before you, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys ever flown one of those discounts like Spirit or Frontier or Ryanair or any of those?
I think in my earlier days I've rode Frontier a long time ago, but I vowed never to do it because you check in 2 pieces of luggage and you're back to the same price as everything else.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then you take the then you roll the dice if your luggage will actually show up with you.
Will make it
in your
there.
next location. Yeah. Which is great now. I mean, you guys all use Apple tags, right? You guys probably tag the hell out of your gear. So
Yeah,
it's
air
kind of
tags.
interesting to see when the bag shows up at the conveyor belt. You can time it pretty well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, people used to give me flack. I used to fly United a lot until someone told me, hey, you know what? If you fly Southwest, there's no blackouts for companion. You fly so many miles, you get companion pass, and when you get companion pass, the fact that they're not blacked out, it was an eventuality that all that stuff is coming to an end here. Right?
Probably.
So, I'll be honest with you. I had a really good, 10, 12-year run on Southwest. So I can't complain.
Yeah. Brian, too. He used to be exclusively Southwest up until maybe a year or two ago.
Well, he's globetrotting, right? So he's flying all over the place outside of the Southwest terminals. So,
Yeah. Eventually, you need to have a little bit more comfort. I did fly United the other day from Newark to Houston, and oh my gosh, man, what a nice plane. Like, it had wireless charging for your phone. Like, get the hell out of here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fancy.
You can even hook up your
really fancy.
AirPods to the little television screen that they had in there. So,
did you buy upgraded seats or did you go normal coach?
I don't know what those plebs.
So what I do have a rule of thumb, and my comfort is definitely one of those big things. And so if I can upgrade for a reasonable amount of money, then I'll just do that. Especially if it's 4 or 5 hours long, it's just worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. I used to fly United a lot, and then even with years of loyalty to them, it's I never got any status with them. I'm always boarding group 6. Why even try anymore?
Yeah.
Well, you have to remember whose name was printed on those tickets as well.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why.
It wasn't really your name, Chris, on those seats.
Exactly. I didn't build any status whatsoever with any airline.
Yeah, you really got gypped on that one. So.
I did.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how Southwest pulls out of this, right? So
I think
they're going to take a hit for
It'll
the better,
be-
but I think like any other airline, it's just highs and lows.
It'll be
By
an
the dip,
experiment.
I think, as you always say.
Yeah,
by the
and,
dip.
and that's one of the things because Southwest resisted this for so long. They did surveys of existing customers that says if we started charging for bags, would you leave us? And 80% of their passengers said yes, we'll leave you if you start charging for bags. But it's one of those things. Same with Netflix password sharing. So if we stop password sharing and cancel our account, overwhelmingly they said yes, but Netflix did it anyway, and then very few people quit. So I think they're just calling their bluff. They said yes, people said they're not going to fly
they
with
all
us.
figured out
but
how to get around
there's
it.
no
by using
alternative.
private
There's
access.
no other airline that offers free checked baggage anymore. So there's no alternative. You gotta go to United or American. They're going to charge you too.
Yeah, but the whole point is now that there's a choice instead of not having a choice, right?
Yeah.
The only choice was Southwest before because they didn't charge, so you kind of sucked it up, and regardless. But now that you have a choice, I'm like, well, at least I get an assigned seat and I get a drink or something, right?
Right.
So,
yeah.
And the possibility for more legroom. So it'll be interesting to see how Southwest comes out of this. Because I think that's what's supposed to start in May. Or not May, but June of this year or next year.
Something like that, yeah. I forgot. There's one date where they're going to stop free seat and start assigning seats. And then there's another date where they're going to start charging baggage fees again. Or start charging baggage fees, period.
Yeah, I'll have to go look. I thought it was like they'll start taking reservations with assigned seats in June of this year, but it won't take effect until like January 1st of next year. I'll have to go look at that. So
probably they'll phase it in. And they're going to have like premium class too. Like that was another thing Southwest, like every single seat in Southwest was equal, but now they're going to have premium seats that they can charge more for.
Yeah. We will see.
We will see. We continue to get great comments about our Dad Joke of the Week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week, I'm up.
Don't blow it.
What's ransomware?
She ran somewhere.
No, Lord.
He ran somewhere. They ran somewhere. That's the joke.
What's the difference between a developer and a vegetarian? One gets upset about a lack of RAM, and the other gets upset about a rack of lamb.
True.
Oh, God, that was just as bad. What the heck are we doing here, Chris?
At least it wasn't a repeat.
I hope you have a backup.
That was it. You get what you get.
Good job, buddy.
You get what you get, and you don't get upset. Just like what I tell my kids all the time.
All right. Well.
All right, to wrap things up, 23andMe is going bankrupt, so go and delete your data. A webcam can ransomware your entire network. Don't use online file converters, and Enshitification continues with airlines. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank you to all listeners and subscribers. Rate us 5 stars in the iTunes Store and Spotify, and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. Best way to find us is to search for the PEBCAK Podcast in your favorite podcast listening app. For my co-hosts Brian Deach and Glenn Medina, I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week, and as always, have a nice day.
Quack, yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Have a nice day.